I don't know why I was mute, but hey, back again. Yeah, European Super League, guys. European Super League. It's a sad day for football, man. It's a sad day for football, and I'm sad. And my boy Will is here, bro. How you doing?
What's going on, bro?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. What bro? The news, bro. The news.
You want my
Sad
honest
day.
opinion, bro?
What's up?
I said, you want my honest opinion, bro?
Yeah. Tell me your honest opinion. And the couple more guests are gonna come, so
It's not
what you
that
think
big of a
about it.
deal, bro.
It's not even a
It's
big
not
deal.
that big of a deal. No. It's only this big of
Elaborate.
a deal because UEFA is making it this big of a deal because they're mad that the big clubs are leaving. And
Yeah,
they
I get
know
that.
that with the big clubs leaving UEFA are now going to lose billions of dollars, pounds, whatever, euro, whatever currency. They're going to lose billions of pounds, which is why this is that big of a deal. All this rest in peace, football, all the game gone is bullshit because where was the same outrage 20 years ago, or no, 30 years ago, basically, when the Premier League was first formed? The big five clubs back then formed the Premier League back then.
Yeah.
So it was kind of where was the outrage for it back then, bro? I think a lot of people have a lot of misinformation about what the Super League is supposed to be. The Super League was never meant to replace the Premier League. It was never meant to replace La Liga, Serie A, none of that.
Yeah.
What the Super League or what they're trying to do is they're trying to rival Champions League because Champions League is not paying the big clubs the money that they're owed, which is facts. Now, if I want to give you an example, all right, Aaron. So
Yeah.
you have a pretty big IG page, right?
Yeah.
You about hit like what are you on? You're on like 65, but you're on 60 something thousand, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let's say if Instagram started paying us, right, for our IG pages, right? Now let's say you have to have at least 5,000 followers to be able to start getting paid from Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now your page with 70,000 brings in a lot more traffic than a page that only has 5,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now would you not think, since you're making Instagram, let's say, more money, right? Should you
Yeah.
not be getting paid more than a smaller page?
Yeah.
Should it all be equal? Or should it all just be just because we're all Instagram, we all get paid the same, no matter how much traction your
No,
page
I get
gets?
it. I get it. I know.
Exactly. So that's the problem that these big clubs have with Champions League. So for example, you have Real Madrid, right? And then you have a team like Krasnodar, right? Why in the let's say Chelsea, let's bring in Chelsea because you're a Chelsea fan. Why is it that Chelsea and Krasnodar in the group stages should be making the same amount of money when Chelsea are bringing in more revenue for UEFA? Why should they all be getting paid the same? Krasnodar is not bringing in even half of what Chelsea bring them. So why is it
Oh
all
yeah.
the same?
I get it. I get it. But the
That's
thing
my
is, like,
issue. Now UEFA is now trying to ban them from these domestic leagues and stuff. But that's never was they were never supposed to leave the domestic cups and all
yeah,
that. They wanted, and then plus they say that there's no relegation system, but that's also not true because it's 15 founding teams, and then 5 clubs can get in through how they do in their domestic league. People aren't reading that; they just see the headline and they start running with it, bro. It's not
no,
that
no,
big
I
of a
know what you mean. No, the thing is, like, again, that 15 founding clubs, again, isn't it like kind of like pointless? Because let's say even they finish last, they're like, oh, might as well. We're just gonna stay in this competition. Who cares? Next season we do it all over again. Like the kind of like these surprise moments, these like crazy like I guess underdog stories. They would never happen. And then this like this relegation system they got. Let's just say Chelsea finished like in the bottom of the table, okay, and then let's say I don't know, like Leicester City joins the European Super League and they finish 15th. But they are, I guess, the least, I guess, the lowest team in that. I guess the promoted teams, if you know what I mean, they're gonna get relegated, but Chelsea wouldn't, even though they got finished couple places lower. Like I don't understand that too.
Well, all right. So the format of the ESL is going to be 20 teams in total, right?
Yeah,
It'd be two groups. Two groups. They're going to play home and away games in those two groups. Then after that, on points or however it goes, the best 8 teams out of the 20 advance into now the knockout rounds.
yeah,
That's how it'll be. And it's literally just a Champions League format. And I think a lot of people are really pissed off because I think that they think that it was supposed to replace the Premier League, replace the domestic competitions. It's supposed to be a midweek competition. And let's be real. I know that there's like, the talk of, well, the fairy tales and stuff. But let's be real. It's generally it's generally the same teams left in the last 16, the last 8, the semifinals. Every year, it's pretty much the same. Like, who's going to be, like, when it's all said and done, who's going to be in the knockout stages, really.
Yeah.
So what's the difference? Like, let's be real. What's the difference?
Good point. I think the thing is, if it all depends on UEFA, because, like, they want to get their money too. I think, in my personal opinion, I think this is just a way of, like, the big clubs, trying to force UEFA to, come an agreement with their own, like, I guess, view of, like, the European football, the structure that they are planning to, continue. I think at the end of the day, I think there is no way UEFA is going to kick everyone out. I think they
can't afford to, bro.
Yeah, and the big clubs need the competition.
The Premier League cannot afford for Chelsea, Man United, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Liverpool to not be there next season. They cannot afford it. They will lose billions of dollars. Bro, there's 20 teams in the Premier League, and the big 6 account for about 80% of all the revenue. They can't afford for them to leave. UEFA can't afford to have Champions League with no Real Madrid, no Barcelona, no, Juve, and none of this. They can't afford that.
Yeah.
Literally. And I think, and look, I know that, me personally, I don't like the idea of this new league. I don't like it because I don't really like new stuff. I like for stuff to be the same. I don't really like this whole new stuff, but I understand why they're doing it because they should be getting paid a bit more considering the billions of euros, pounds, whatever they bring UEFA in the first place. So they do deserve a cut. And then all that is, I don't think this Super League is going to happen. Because I think that UEFA know that they need those teams more than those teams need them.
Yeah, facts. I think, in my opinion, the big clubs just want to force their way of, getting more money. And again, I think what's going to happen to the international football, because I heard, like, I guess Florentino Perez or whoever, like, controlling the Super League or whatever, I heard, like, they have, like, plans for, like, the World Cup and stuff. So they're going to create their own World Cups and or Euros. And I'm pretty sure they can because, they are a bunch of rich people. And I think I'm pretty sure.
I didn't hear about that, bro. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know about that. I mean, I did hear that that UEFA will try to stop players who play for these clubs from competing internationally, which kind of, I don't really think legally you can do that. Like, because you can't stop a player from playing for their country because they're mad at the owner of the club.
Yeah.
What does that do with the players? That's not the players' fault. A lot of the players, I know that people are saying that, you can't, what if the players want to leave? They can't. Because all the teams that would be able to afford them are in the Super League. So they're going to leave and go where? To Leicester? To Leeds? They can't afford to buy these guys.
Yeah.
The only 2 teams that are in it that aren't in it that are big clubs are Bayern and PSG. Now Bayern left. Now Bayern, they can't join it because in Germany, fans own 51% of the club. Yeah. So fans have the say. I'm pretty sure if it was just a straight owner, like whoever the main owner is, if he owned 100% of the club, I'm telling you right now, Bayern would be in it. PSG aren't in it because PSG are owned by Qatar owners. UEFA, I think that like the head of UEFA is from Qatar as well. They have close relations to the president of UEFA. There is no moral high ground. Mm-hmm. Bayern fans won't let them accept that. That's the main reason why. Bayern fans have the majority vote on this subject. So they can't join. But there is no, Bayern standing for real football and all this BS. No. And Chelsea and Man City, the reports are that, what the headlines say, that they were forced to do it. They were not forced to do it. Chelsea and Man City, they had their reservations on it. But when they saw the money that was being thrown around, they realized that they could not pass up on the opportunity. Nobody forces anybody to take $400 million next. Nobody forced anybody to do that. They knew what they were doing, because if Chelsea and Man City didn't join, that means more money for other clubs. Nobody forced them to do that. Come on, bro.
if they really didn't want to join, I think why wouldn't you be like an example for the other big teams? Just like say I don't want to join. Like just say I don't want to join, and get the
That's what
backing of
PSG
maybe
did.
other. Yeah,
That's what
that's like
PSG
again
said. No,
PSG.
we're
I heard
good.
PSG. I heard like some other stuff about like their TV deals. I don't know. I heard like maybe there is like I'm pretty sure they would join too. There is no way like they wouldn't join, bro. I'm pretty sure there's something holding them back. I think maybe the French government is holding them back because that's their only big team. I don't. There's just plenty of reasons. We just don't know. But I
But you
think
know, like what it is, though, right, bro?
what's up?
So, it's rumored Chelsea, Man City, Real Madrid might get kicked out of the Champions League for this.
Yeah,
That only leaves PSG left as the winners. So then
bro.
PSG are sitting there like, yo, bro, kick them out. Like, hurry up,
Yeah,
bro,
so
kick
we
them
win
out.
the league.
Look what they're doing. Kick them out. Give it to us. Kick them out. Then they're gonna get it. Be like, you know what? Fuck it. I think they would just join the Super League too.
Yeah, bro. So we've been going through all these great results recently for Chelsea. We go to the semifinals of the Champions League, the finals of the FA Cup, and it all means nothing. Like I'm pretty sure there is no way like they're not gonna finish the season. I hope they finish the season because imagine sacking Lampard. Like what was the point of sacking Lampard if like we were like supposed to join the Super League? Then my thinking is like that's why, in my opinion, I think the overall goal was just to put more pressure on UEFA. I think UEFA they didn't know what's going on behind the scenes. Like I don't their the owner I think the what's it called, the CEO of UEFA or whatever his name is, he said like there are like a couple snakes around him. I'm pretty sure this was like they've been planning for it, but I think they decided very quickly. They wanted to act very quickly, and I think they all decided together. So they're like, what, they just mess with UEFA and stuff and put pressure on them because
I
UEFA.
agree.
Let's be honest, bro. UEFA and FIFA, all these organizations, they're even more corrupt, man. Like
They're all corrupt,
pretending.
bro. It's all about money. Then, right? People are saying, "Oh, football is dead." All this other stuff, bro. It's not. It's literally not, bro. Like a lot of people, they just being a bit dramatic, bro. Because football is all about money. At the end of the day, whether you guys like it or not, it's all about money. Because if it wasn't about money, kids would be free. There'd be, they wouldn't charge us, to go to games, all this stuff, and then big clubs couldn't be able to sign these big players for a lot of money if money wasn't important. That's what separates big clubs from small clubs.
What you doing, Jalov? How you doing, bro?
I agree.
I'm pretty sure you know the news and stuff.
Yeah, what's going on? I'm chilling. Yeah, man. I'm not too sure about this whole Super League thing. I'm not really too sure. Like, I don't think it's a good idea, but money-wise, it's definitely a great idea. You can see why they're doing this, and I kind of agree with Will on this point because, the money is a lot, and it's probably the most money that I can see Arsenal and other clubs getting for other than, just making the same kind of business moves. But for right now, this is kind of a big investment. It's a good investment too if we're talking about the money aspect. But as far as the Super League goes and kicking teams out of UEFA and things of that nature, I'm not really too sure about it because I'm the same as well. I like the kind of state that we're in right now. I like the same kind of Champions League, Europa League. And I feel like it's an easy way out if I'm being honest because I don't want to just see my team play against the big teams just because. I want to see us earn our way to that moment so that we can play them. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're struggling against Fulham, then that means that we are a bad side. And there's no way around it. We're a bad side. But if we play Real Madrid next week, just because we're in the league, that's not what I'm looking forward to. Like these big games mean something, and you have to work your way to getting to that point.
Yeah.
But just having it given to us, that's not what I really agree with, if I'm being honest.
Bro, imagine like West Ham and Leicester, all those teams, finally are like in a good Champions League position, and the Super League comes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I told Vil, but I'm gonna tell you again. I'm saying, in my opinion, it's probably like a very aggressive way of putting pressure on UEFA because UEFA, they need the big clubs. Like majority of the money earned by this like TV stuff and for the like just the TV deals, it's by the big clubs. So they know what they're doing. So in my opinion, they're just putting pressure to to get the best side of the deal for themselves. And UEFA, let's be honest, bro, they're even more corrupt, man. UEFA, FIFA, the old CEO of FIFA, Sepp Blatter, the guy's in jail. I'm pretty sure he's in jail with Michel Platini. They did a bunch of like sketchy sketchy stuff. So I think, I don't know, man. I think at the end of the day, this is money speaks, and right now the clubs have the power.
CFC Carefree Football is gone. I woke up this morning and realized it wasn't just a nightmare. Stop being so dramatic, bro. Like, don't be dramatic, bro. Come on. Don't be dramatic, bro. Don't be dramatic.
Hubert says, will you still support Chelsea? I mean, of course. But, you know, we got to see what happens. I think it's still a bit early to see, see what's going on. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that are, like, hidden or unclear. And, yeah, I think at the end of the day, they're going to come to an agreement because Premier League, all these UCL.
Let me ask you a question, bro.
What's up?
If this stuff goes through,
yeah,
you know how all these, you know, like these, you know, fake people upset for likes and retweets and all this stuff, just trying to whatever, right? Do you see the amount of people saying, "Oh, if this happens, I'm not gonna watch it"? That's absolute BS, bro. Of course, people are still gonna watch. People are still gonna watch, bro. At the end of the day, because it's your club. At the end of the day, you could be upset about it, but it's still your club. Like, you're not gonna just stop watching the club that you've been watching for your whole life, or a club that you love, all of a sudden just because they're now in a Super League. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
How you doing, Rose? Welcome to the stream.
Hi, thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're updated with the news, so I just want to know what's your take.
Well, I think it's a disgrace, to be honest. So I'm an Everton supporter.
Yeah.
And I take issue with it at lots of different levels. So it's an added competition, and, you know, the clubs. So if I look at the positives, it's an added competition, and the clubs have really clearly thought about it, and it's midweek and they want to take part in everything else. But in my opinion, okay, you've got Spurs, who haven't won a league title since 1960, and they're apparently an elite club. You've got Everton, okay, and they're my club, so I'm going to be biased towards them. Fourth most successful English club in history, not even in the conversation. And do you know what? I'm glad we're not, because it shows that we're not completely out of touch with our fans. We don't want to fly off to LA midweek to go and see Everton play Bayern Munich in this competition. But it just shows to me that they don't care about the history of football, don't care about the communities that the football clubs serve, and don't care about tradition. But to be honest, my issues with UEFA as well. Like, I don't just think that this competition is a problem, because UEFA have already said that by 2024, there will be spots reserved for, quote, elite clubs.
Yeah.
So I think UEFA are probably annoyed that they didn't do this first. Because I think, as one of your guests was just saying, sorry, people will still watch. Of course, people are still going to watch. Like, it's not about the fans in this country, it's about fans worldwide. And that's my issue with it, I guess.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question though, Rose? So do you think that a lot of people are more so upset about this because their initial thought was that this was meant to replace domestic football?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it depends on what UEFA and the Premier League do, because they've come out pretty strong, saying that we're going to ban you from the Premier League, we're going to ban you from Champions League and your national team. So these players are probably thinking at these clubs, and I just saw actually the Leeds and Liverpool fans have protested outside Ellen Road right now. It's not even like that the fans that are involved particularly want it. The match day going fans, you know, and I just think, like, it is what it is. Like, it's money's been in football much longer than just this year. So it's pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I already told Will and Jolof. In my opinion, like, this is just like another way of like the big clubs putting pressure on UEFA because they just want the bigger side of the financial gains. I think, in my opinion, at some point they're gonna come to an agreement. I think there is no way Premier League, all these big like competitions, they're gonna give up the big clubs, because they are pretty much earning a lot of money just because of those big clubs. So I think at one point they're gonna come to an agreement, and they're probably gonna give up a big chunk of the money to the big clubs.
Well, I mean, but as I was saying though earlier, bro, I think that that's what's fair, because again, even though I don't like the idea of the Super League, I get where the clubs are coming from. If they're earning UEFA more money, they should be entitled to a bit more money than what UEFA gives them. Like, for example, you only get 80 million to win Champions League. That's about what, if you come like 4th or 5th in the Premier League? You know, so, and then, you know, unless you advance past the group stages, again, so if you're a club like Chelsea and you're getting the same cut as a team such as, you know, Shakhtar, when you're bringing in more money than what Shakhtar does. So I think that it's fair that they're expecting maybe to get a bigger cut.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's just the point. It's just it makes sense. It makes sense from a financial standpoint. Like, you know, just like Will said, I feel as though like these teams shouldn't be, even though they're in the same competition, they shouldn't be judged on the same platform. So that makes sense. You know, like definitely Chelsea should not be getting the same amount of money as FC Porto for that matter. Even though FC Porto is a good club, you know, I know that Chelsea generates much more revenue and wealth towards the Champions League, which is why they deserve a little bit more of the cut towards, you know, being a more successful club and maintaining that status.
Hey, Rose, you guys are going to be the new Big Six teams now, bro. You guys, Everton definitely going to be in there.
The thing is that would just mean nothing. Like, I can tell you now, like, if that happens, if like worst case scenario, you guys all leave, I'll just be like, yeah, fine, done. Like, it like, and I can guarantee that West Ham fans are probably still the same, like Villa fans and Leeds fans. And I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of looking at the bigger picture. Like, this was always on the cards. They wanted to do Project Big Picture last year. It's been going on since the 90s, that they've wanted to break away and form this like European Super League. But the thing that I get frustrated by is that the bigger picture, it says here that Man United and Real Madrid were the ringleaders. This is like a well-placed source, apparently. But the 3 US-owned Premier League clubs mean like they want to go further. They want to have the NFL model of like a closed league with star clubs and players driving value. I don't know a lot about the NBA. I know a bit about the draft and stuff, but it's just like if it goes so far as a closed league, like that's when I'll be done with football, because the whole thing is that you have a Leicester City and they managed to win the league against all odds. And if you just close, like, I'm not saying that ESL will result in that. I think it's a step. Like, if they get this through, then the next step will be, well, why do we need the championship? Why do we need League 1 and 2? And that, for me, like, to destroy the football pyramid like that would just be, like, I think a lot of fans would just switch off, like, if that happened. So.
Jalaf, I'm pretty sure you're very familiar with, I guess, the formats of NBA, NFL, you know, those kind of, like, competitions. What are the downsides of the, you know, those formats, you know, just like close competitions?
The downside is that you really can't play anybody except in your country, if I'm being honest. It's not worldly as it is as soccer or for football, for that matter. You have to play everyone around the world. But right here, similar to the ESL, it would be people in your specific area. And that's kind of exciting only if you're from that area. You're pretty much well-versed in, you know, the country and what it has to offer. And on top of that, you bring in the culture of the sport. But you know, if it's something as worldly as this sport, then it wouldn't be a big advantage to a fan who's probably watching to play different kinds of players from different types of places. But right now, it's a mostly American sport. People come to America to play in the NBA. That's pretty much the only advantage I can see going on so far. It's not really a big room for growth, if I'm being honest. Like, you have. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, but like, you know, the thing is that this wouldn't be that big of a deal if UEFA were not overreacting, because again, this was just meant to rival the Champions League. Arsenal, the Big Six, were all gonna still be in the Premier League. You know, Real Madrid, Barca, Atletico were still gonna be in La Liga. Same thing with Serie A, with Juve, Inter, and all those. It's just that UEFA are just mad that the big teams don't want to play in their competition. So now it's like, oh, we're gonna ban you from domestic cups, but you know, like, you were still gonna have your local rivalries. You know, like there was still gonna be, you know, like the Merseyside the Derby. You know, Man City versus, you know, Man United and all this stuff. It was never meant to replace any of that. So I definitely do think that, you know, I don't really see the problem with it, because really, when you get into like the bottom stages of the Champions League, it's kind of always the same teams anyways that really make it. Maybe you have 1-2 teams that maybe everybody thought were going to get knocked down to Europa or out, but it's generally the same teams during the last 8, regardless, if we're being honest.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, even the competition, if everyone just stays in their own leagues and they just make this new tournament, again, the one thing I don't like is that, like, even if you like finish, like, let's say last, you cannot get relegated, those 15 founding clubs, that's why, in my opinion, that's the main problem. If they just want to make, like, I guess, make the big clubs compete with one another, at least make them just get relegated. So like the other, I guess, the better teams that they've been doing well in the domestic cups, let them just get promoted. I just don't like this, like the closed, I guess the 15 founding clubs, just staying up there without actually worrying about relegation.
You know if that's like for sure, like how it, because I do know that. So there's 15 clubs, and then there's those 5 spots that they said will be earned by teams who qualify for it through their league positioning. I don't know how that's going to work, but do we know that the 15 clubs are always going to be in it each year, no matter how they perform in it? Because again, all this information is pretty new.
Yeah,
I think that's just those 15 founding clubs are guaranteed for it next season. But I don't know how, because again, it's going to be 20 teams, 2 group stages, 10 teams in each group, and then the best teams, like the best 8, advance towards the end of however many match days they have it. So, I mean, I'm not too sure, if I'm being honest. But this guy here says that Ajax, Porto, Celtic generated revenue or more revenue than Chelsea, PSG, and City before 20 years. So it's unfair. It's a totally reason bias.
I think, to be honest, I think that's my complete issue with it. Is just that it's like, well, football started in 2004 when Roman Abramovich came into Chelsea, and then Man City. Let's forget that Man City were getting beat 8-1 by Middlesbrough at a small northern town before, Sheikh Mansour got his checkbook out. So I think for fans, of a certain age, and I'm still quite young, but like if an Everton fan, if you know your history, I just mean, would you forget about all that? Like, so we just forget that Everton were a big club. We forget that, West Ham were good. Aston Villa, Leeds, you've got huge clubs with massive histories and, widely followed. And for me, I think it just destroys the aspiration, let's say. Like, okay, maybe it's not a big deal to these like top 6 clubs how many of whom aren't in the top 6 right now? But if I was a Leicester fan, I'd be fuming. Win the league more recently than Arsenal, and been in Champions League more consistently. Where's my invite? So I'm not even talking just from an Everton perspective. It's literally, how were these clubs decided? Revenue. It's not about success. Like that comment there, Ajax, Porto, Celtic, historically really successful clubs. No invite because in the last 20 years you haven't been as good as you were in the last 100. Oh, okay. Well, that's when I switch off from football, personally. So
that's a good point.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, as I said before, I think this is just like, there is no way they're gonna let these clubs go. I think it's just putting pressure on UEFA, and I think there's so many clubs that are not in this tournament, like in this new like European Super League, that are actually big clubs. They got big fan bases, and I think they just basically gave invites with I guess the billionaires that they are pretty close. They just wanted to, like, I guess, make even more money. Because I mean, I agree with Will, because he said, like, if let's say Real Madrid makes more money, they deserve to get paid more than, like, let's say, I don't know, like Porto or Olympiacos, whatever, the small teams. But I think there's like so much information that's still like unclear. There's like a lot of misinformation going on. I was misinformed. Like, I thought it's just like it's supposed to be like a replacement for the domestic leagues, which I was wrong. But I think right now we just have to wait to see. I mean, the moment personally, when I saw the news yesterday, I was like, this is just probably like some stupid news. But then I saw Fabrizio Romano started tweeting. I'm like, oh, it's getting serious now. It's getting serious. And I was like, yeah, things are heating up. But I think we just have to wait to see what else comes out, because like there's like a lot of things unclear.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think that the clubs that are leaving, I think that they're in more of a position of power than, let's say, their leagues or UEFA, because a lot of the money and a lot of viewership comes for people wanting to see those clubs. So I think that they have a choice but to negotiate with them to bring them back, because as shown, the clubs that are leaving are going to be able to still make more. They'll probably even be able to make more money leaving maybe than even staying. So I think that the Premier League and UEFA, all that they're going to have to negotiate with them, because you can't afford for them to just leave.
Yeah, 100%. Now I just saw this tweet from Fabrizio Romano. He said UEFA decision about UCL and UEL semifinals will be made in the next few days after meeting with the legal team. So do you guys think the competition is going to continue, or you think it's going to get stopped?
I'm sorry, but that would be hilarious if Man City, after all these years, struggle and they're finally in a semi-final, and then they get kicked out. And I mean, if I was a fan of one of these teams, like Man U, Arsenal, Chelsea, City, like, could you not have waited like a few weeks to at least decide if we're going to win it this year? Because UEFA could literally be like, yeah, you're out, fine. We'll just award it to this team. Like, it's mad. But then again, Man City's lawyers have already gone up against UEFA and won, haven't they? So who knows?
That's a good point, actually, because why yesterday? Like, why was that the day that they said, let's do this? Like, why not wait till after the season ended? That's a very good point. Like, does something get leaked maybe? Or I don't know. Yeah.
I heard on Friday, I think there was like a meeting with the big clubs and UEFA, and I'm pretty sure they agreed on a format. They both sides, they were like pretty much, they were agreeing on it, like especially on the financial side. But I think probably something happened maybe on the Spanish club sides. They probably wanted to like react quickly, make a quick plan to just force things on UEFA. That's my take. I don't know.
I mean, all that I know is that seeing the teams that are in it now, as an Arsenal fan, we're not going to win anything. So I mean, I hope that they let us still compete in the Europa League, because that might be the last time that we win anything with this new league format, because there's no way we're going to be beating Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico. We just drew with Fulham. We're like, so I'm going to have to watch my team get slapped up on a weekly basis by the elite clubs. So I'm not excited to see. I'm not going to even lie.
Yeah, at least the memes were on point. Like, there was like a bunch of memes getting created, especially on Twitter, like Arsenal. And I don't know what's Tottenham doing there, man. They haven't won a trophy since 2009, 2008. That's absolutely crazy. And the thing is, Mourinho got sacked today, like out of nowhere. It's like Mourinho got fired. Boom.
He did.
Out of nowhere.
That was their way of probably, making the news a little bit more easier to take for them joining the Super League. Just to keep Mourinho on the side there. Hey, he's gone now, but yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he should have been sacked maybe a little bit time ago. I mean, but at least Tottenham are moving like a club that, look, when results aren't going the right way, they're gonna sack you. Unlike Arsenal, where we're struggling all season and you're still keeping Arteta here for some weird reason. So at least Tottenham are kind of trying to operate like a big club. You're not getting the results, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I probably would have waited until after the cup final, though, honestly.
Exactly.
Because if there's any manager you probably would want for that final, would have been Jose. So I probably would have waited like a week or so. But that's just me.
They brought him in for trophies, but then they just sack him before the final. Doesn't make sense. And the rumors that he basically got sacked because of he didn't want to train, about the trainings and stuff with the players because of the Super League. That was lies, right?
Yeah, I think that Fabrizio said that wasn't true. Yeah. I think that they were probably gonna sack him regardless. I don't know. Rose, that's your question. How are you feeling about Everton this season, though?
Yeah, I think we've done okay. A little bit inconsistent, but the manager's getting what he can out of this group of players. So not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, because I forget where you guys are actually sat right now. I know that you guys are above us. You guys are sixth, eighth. Okay. I mean, do you think that you guys have a chance for Europe next season?
Yeah, when you lot all get kicked out on Friday. No, I'm joking. I think I think we're just too inconsistent. We're playing Aston Villa twice, and then we've got Arsenal still, we've got Man City, we've got West Ham. I think the fixtures are really, really tough. So I think we might stay where we are.
Rose, I have a question for you. So, the owner of Everton, he's like a Persian guy, like a billionaire guy. Since he took over, do you think your club has been progressing in the right direction, or you think there's plenty of money just being wasted in the players that they shouldn't be signed for?
At the beginning, wasted. We had a combination of Koeman and Walsh, and they signed 3 players in the same position. We signed Sigurdsson for 50 million, and then since Marcel Brands has come in and Ancelotti's come in, it's got a lot better. But yeah, there was definitely so much money wasted. I mean, 35 million on Iwobi as well. And that, to be fair, Marcel Brands was there for that one. So yeah, I think it's a combination. Yeah, we've wasted so much money. We've still got Balassi. I think he's finally left on a free transfer. Like, it's just, yeah, it's terrible.
Where do you see Everton in 5 years? Do you think you guys are going to be able to like compete for the Champions League spots, or you think maybe like Europa League spots?
I'd hope in Champions League in 5 years' time, like if the owner's still here and Usmanov's putting money in as well, and probably a successor to Ancelotti by then. But yeah, no, I definitely think top 4 is the minimum in 5 years.
Yeah, and the thing with Usmanov is he was a partial owner of Arsenal, and he was trying to actually buy out Kroenke, and Kroenke said no. Then Kroenke bought his shares. Then Usmanov said, all right, I'll go to Everton, and now he's been pumping money into there. And I mean, I think Everton, in terms of starting 11, are clear of Arsenal. I think that you guys have a lot of talent. I think that, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, Mason Holgate, like players like that, like you guys revamped your whole midfield, basically. I think that especially if these big 6 teams probably do really get kicked out, if that is true, I think Everton are going to be serious contenders for winning the league. Like, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Serious contenders along with West Ham. I'm really gutted for West Ham, by the way. I just want to add that. It's finally a year where they overachieve, still overachieving at this moment. A year where Jesse Lingard comes into the side. He basically finds his career in a West Ham uniform shirt. And then to see the likes of their hard work go to waste, kind of, in my opinion, because of the likes of them trying to compete against the best of the best, and now the best of the best are leaving. It's like, what is all this work here for? We did all this hard work. We tried to give money into the squad, and now we're just competing against the likes of Leicester and Everton, who are both good teams, but, they're not the traditional big 6 as people would want to face week in and week out. So I'm really gutted for those teams.
I don't like West Ham. Because I don't like Lingard, so I don't feel too bad.
There is no way they're gonna get Champions League, man. In my opinion, there is no way they're gonna get Champions League. I think at some point they're gonna crumble.
Europa League, I think that they'll finish probably by like between 5th, 6th. I think that's where they'll probably finish. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, like they have been pretty good. They have been overachieving like crazy too. But I didn't really see them finishing top 4, if I'm being honest. Because I think like Lingard's run has to come to an end at some point, because the guy is world class at the moment with his form. So, I mean, but I didn't really think that would last for so long, but it has. So, anything could happen, really.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the semifinal for the Champions League. I don't even know if we're gonna get kicked out. We got a good run of form. We are basically beating a lot of great teams. We beat Man City. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And here we are about to get kicked out of the tournament. All this effort, all this new manager and stuff for basically for nothing, man. Like, I don't know why Lampard got sacked. If you were gonna like quit like Champions League and stuff, might as well just keep him.
Yeah, I mean, but at least you guys have one of the best managers going into this new format thing. Yeah. I mean, it's not like you're us or Man United with Arteta or Ale. So I mean, I'd rather be in Chelsea's position right now than Arsenal's or Man United or something like that.
I genuinely, I was joking with you. I don't think they'll kick you out. Like, it just makes no sense, because if Sky don't get the rights and BT don't get the rights, then Amazon will take it. Netflix, like, there's just such a shift now. And I think the reason that Sky are coming out so strong, I've just been watching Carragher and Neville. They've gone red, like, with anger. Like, I feel like they've just been told, you need to push back so hard against this, because we won't get the rights for it. Like, if it happens, because they'll just get blown out of the water. I was messing with you guys earlier. I don't think you get kicked out. I think like UEFA will make it really hard, but like you were saying earlier, well, like the clubs have all the power, because honestly you're the wealthiest, and that shows. And so you've like really in the driving seat. And
how's the UK government reacted to it, like to this news?
I think actually our Prime Minister's come out and condemned it as well. Like, it's mad. Like, there's a massive I just had the article up, actually. Yeah, the government joins roars of outrage over EuroLeague. Like the government has launched a fan-led review of football after 6 English clubs. Yeah. So like, it's gone mad.
Yeah, and what's crazy is that in like America, like like our sports stuff, they're not even talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, so many sports to talk about that they're not gonna. This is like a
you it's kind of like, all right, whatever. Like, or people are saying, oh, somebody explained this in NBA terms and stuff like that. It's like they don't even care over here. Like, so
it's annoying, but hey,
yeah. So to wrap this up, guys, you guys have any like final thoughts about the Super League? As I said before, it's just a like good way to put pressure on UEFA. That's my like short thoughts. I'm gonna start with you, Rose.
Oh, this Gary Neville quote: "I'd rather watch the champions of San Marino than those two." Okay. Anyway, my thoughts. Just a bit indifferent. Like, it was always coming. Let's see what happens. I think there has been a lot of overreaction, and it's quite emotional, when it involves your football team in your local area, and the prospect of them playing so far away, most likely in games you won't be able to see, and you have to watch them on the TV. I think it's just so different. So, yeah, I'm just glad that my club's not involved, because I genuinely, this isn't like emotional, I just genuinely feel a bit sorry for the teams of this top six to know that kind of local fans just mean nothing, essentially. Like, it's just about the commercial corporate business. Like, you're a customer, you're not a supporter, and that's my take on it as a fan of not a big six club.
What about you, Will?
I think I'm gonna agree with Rose as well. I do think that there has been I think maybe like a little bit of overreaction, but I do understand why people do feel like how they feel. But I just think let more information to come out, and just kind of like wait a little bit, because I think saying rest in peace to football and football is dead, I think that's a bit extreme, guys. Because especially when it was never meant to replace the domestic stuff. So I think we should just wait for more information to come out before we really have really, really strong opinions on it. Yeah.
What about you, Jalof?
Yeah, kind of the same thing as everyone has just said. Kind of indifferent on the situation. The crying out is expected. The nervousness for the future is also expected as well too. I'm kind of nervous because I'm not really too much of a big fan of change. I like the standard format that we have right now with Champions League and Europa League. But maybe as time goes on, I'll grow to love it. Maybe not. But from a money standpoint, I do understand this is possibly and probably the way to go. But I'm just saying, I feel as though if the whole possibility of even, for example, teams being kicked out of their respective Champions Leagues and Europa Leagues and seeing all the hard work that we put, and to see, it's like, for me, for instance, the Europa League, albeit as a second tier Europe League or competition for that matter, is all I have, and for us to be possibly kicked out because of the lack of us moving to the Super League, it just says a lot, and I'm kind of disappointed about that standpoint. But we'll see as more information unveils itself.
But yeah, guys, that was it. We just have to wait to see what's going on, more news and more clarification about all these rumors and stuff. But Rose, thank you for joining. If you have any streams or you feel like any Chelsea previews or stuff, I'm always down to join. Vil,
Great.
Thank you for joining. Same with you, Jalof. Yeah, man. Thanks for joining. See you later.
All right, guys. See you guys.
See you guys.
Bye.